Hey, surprise, surprise. It's Saturday, the 26th. It's 9:17. Yeah. It's going to be 9:18 in 8 seconds. 7, 6, 5. You can look up in that corner right there. There's the clock. Yeah. That's just so I know what time. I can look down here and see what time it is, but I can't see seconds. Yeah. In this business, every second counts. All right. So I was a minute late because I was watching the Joe Rogan show with interviewing Trump. I tell you what. Yeah, I mean, it's a nice conversation between the two of them. I guess that's why Trump is doing so well, because he's a smart cookie. Anyone that says he's not so smart doesn't know who he is. Now, I don't know who he is, truthfully. But I've been teaching for a while, and I've met a lot of people. I've been teaching at FAU for 20 years. Adjunct faculty at the Charles E. Schmidt College of Science at Florida Atlantic University. Yeah, it's a 30,000 student university. I'm proud of that. Thank you, Dr. John Harlan, for sponsoring me, so to speak. I guess that's the right word. You know, academia is an entirely different world, which I can write up an encyclopedia what I do not know about that topic. But anyway, but I do know about digital imaging, and I was, I was at the very beginning of digital imaging, photography without using film. No film. No, none of that stuff that's been going on for 100 years. It's pixels and megabytes and all that. And the name of the camera is a DCS 560. D, like digital. C, like Kodak. S, like I don't know what. And it had a Canon 1N body, and it had a Kodak imager where the film plane was. No film. No film cartridges. Nope. Entirely digital. Right where the film, the 24 by 36 millimeter film, right where that film plane was, there was, exactly in the right spot was a digital imager with 6 million pixels. 6 million. Okay? 3,000 pixels this way, 2,000 pixels that way. You multiply 3 times 2, you get 6. And then add a few zeros. 6 million pixels. And guess what? On a Canon 1N body. The Canon 1N body, standard film camera used by professional photographers all over the world. Canon 1N like never before. And that camera cost me $25,000. And this is, a long time ago. crap. Whew. I'll have to think about when I bought that. 1990, could it be? Maybe 91 or 92. I don't know. I'll fact check myself on that. We can go on the internet right now. Why don't we do it? Let's play. So I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to stop whatever that is. You can see this. DCS 560. No, come on, you dummy. DCS 560. go to the front here if I can. Darn it. Kodak. Kodak. DCS56. There we go. Well, we got some. I'm not a robot. Gosh, it's annoying. There we go. GCS 560. eBay. That was history. There's a museum. Let's do the museum one because we don't want to buy one. Oh, crap. All right, that page doesn't work. Well, here's a Canon 1N for sale, and I talked about 2002. Just looking through the list of things to pick. I should have. What else can we put in here? Yeah, you try to put some keywords in so it picks up something. There, look at that, 1998. Okay. At the PMA, that's a show. Let's do that. Can I click that? No, there's nothing to click. And I tried that, and the link doesn't work. There it is. I had one of those. Yes, sir. I kept that for about 10 years, and I sold it to a company in like Las Vegas. This guy had a guy girl. I don't know the owner, but they had a thing where you go down the flume, and then it snaps a picture, and then they put the pictures all up on a wall, and then you can order the pictures and all that kind of stuff. Well, they used these cameras because they all worked with the software. Everything's controlled with software. And, this was a relatively rare camera because, $25,000 a piece. I sold it for $2,500, and I kissed the check when I got it. I sold it for 1/10. But I used it, for 8 or 10 years. And, now I have a Canon camera where they make their own imagers. And it's 45 million pixels and costs $4,500 instead of, $25,000. It was $4,000. Yeah. And it's called a 5 or R5. An R5, a Canon R5. You can look that up. Let's look it up. What the heck? Canon, C-A-N-O-N R. It's capital R, but we don't care about that. There you go. Just whatever that is. There it is. It's worth $2,900 today. You can buy the camera. There it is. And then we can see. There we go. There's an overview. There it is. The whole image frame is covered with see, there it is. 45 million pixel full frame sensor. It's at the heart of the EOS R5. The one thing about Canon, and the reason why I picked Canon, was the lenses. Back in the early days, not so early days, but, 10, 15 years ago, when I was at my prime of taking pictures. I think it was Reuters called me, one of the agents, Reuters, because I was taking pictures through all the, major, I was a source of quality imaging. I didn't take a lot of sports photography, but I did some at FAU. All the sports, tennis, golf, football, baseball, softball, mostly football. Marilyn and I took 40, I think, it's close to 50,000 pictures of FAU football games. I don't do it, I don't do it anymore because they made me sign, a one-page contract that said the images are ours and this is ours and this is ours. I said, you know what? Screw that. I take the pictures. They're mine. Now you want to, I'll give them to you. You don't have to pay for them. I'll give them to you. But don't tell me they're yours. They're mine, and I'm giving you the license to use them as often as you want. You can sell them. You can do whatever you want. Put them on your site. Give me image quality. Give me image recognition, or not. I don't care. But the images are mine, are ours. Yep. And they wouldn't hear of it. I said, all right. Well. So I got a hold of the person that, the sports information director. I think that's the title. Nice lady. And she sent me this thing, and I signed it, and Daniel signed it, Marilyn signed it. I sent it back in. But we never showed up to take any pictures because, I don't know, they got a bad attitude, Their president, their administration, 15 years ago when Brogan was the president, he was like cooperative. He thought it was great that I would donate my time to take pictures. I was in the president's house. I was all over the place with that thing. Well, the administration now, they're all, I don't know what they are, but they're, they don't realize they're squeezing out people. Yeah, they think they got enough talent there to do whatever the heck they want to do. And the heck with people like me, private people. I live a mile away from the stupid stadium. So I think I'm done. Yeah. I'm crowding 80. It's too hot. No, I would suffer through it, but they don't have the right attitude, so the heck with them. I have a friend of mine that's on the board, some kind of a board, he's on the financial board because he knows a lot of people in town that have a lot of money, so they want him around, so hopefully they get some money from his friends. Look at that, the ISO range, 100 to 51,000. And you can expand it to 102,000 ISO. That's nuts. That's the camera I have. So if you turn up the ISO, you can take pictures in real low light. Well, that's when you have that sucker turned up to 50,000 ISO, you basically take pictures in the dark. Yep. And they have, anyway, so when 20 years ago when I was taking pictures, because this came out in DCS 560 was a camera 1998. I got it, 2000. I think it was before 2000, 1999 maybe. 25,000. You can buy it. It's a historic. But that was the beginning of digital photography. So I'm taking these pictures and I'm putting them up on the website. I had the USA Soccer Organization. They paid me $9,000 something to go with them for 6 weeks and take pictures of youth soccer. the U12, U13, U14, under 15, 16, 17, and they would travel all over Europe. They started out in Denmark, which is like the top of the planet, July 10th or something or other. July 02. It was 1 year after, 9/11/01. Well, this is, in July of the next year. So the airports were like taking you apart. And, my suitcases, the suitcase that I had full of my camera equipment, everything looked like a bomb. They took my lenses out. I mean, the lenses were like this big. The lens weighed 4 pounds. Camera weighed 1.5 pounds. So, when you're slinging around 5-6 pound camera for 12 hours a day, your arms and your shoulders are, whew. Yeah, you need to do some exercise to be able to do that. Because, forget tripods, I'm sitting in the grass on the edge of a soccer field. And soccer is not an easy thing to photograph because they're moving around pretty good. And, you got to take a lot of pictures to get a couple of good ones. I figure about, 5%. So you got to snap. And in digital, you can snap your brains out. The film photographers, I'm sitting next to the film photographers, and they take 4 or 5, take 20 shots, and they got to wind in a new canister of film. And they take another 20 shots, and they have a whole, bag full of of film canisters. And of course, they don't know if they got the shot because they have to develop the film, and then they have to print the photos, and they look at them and say, "Oh, this is a good one." When I take a digital thing, I look at the back of the camera through the screen, and I can zip through them and see if I got the shot. Because you got to get a couple of money shots. They call them money shots. To see if you, So anyway, you got to shoot the whole soccer game anyway. But that's what I did for a lot. Anyway, so that was a 6-week thing. We spent time in Denmark. We went to London. We went to Manchester United. I was a snapping fool. I took pictures. He'd say, get this, get that. And then they had some events. They had, sessions, with all the important soccer people around the European continent. And so I took a lot of pictures, and I've got, hundreds of thousands of people visiting our 416-1100 site, where I've got all those European pictures on. They've been up there. I have an arrangement with SmugBug, a company out of California, and I have, I think, something like 400,000 pictures in 36 different categories, housing the shots. And I had the best. I have the best. Have the best photographic equipment. Let's see if I have. There it is. You see right here. You see this little 1, 2, 3. The fourth. It's right next to the YouTube, just the left of the YouTube, and we press that one right there, and it goes there. 4161100.com with a hyphen. Look at this shot. Polo. Were they hooked up with each other? There's a name for that, and I can't remember the name for it, and I don't even know how to look it up. Oh, there's Marilyn with Jay Leno. Yeah, we had a good time. The FAU events, the Department of Education hired me. Look at that young lady. Is that a spectacular looking young elementary school teacher? Yep. And look, I got the bowl of apples in the background. I had to move around to try to capture this, and you can see on her lanyard, something pride, ADH, ADHUS. Pride. ADHUS Pride. Yeah. Freckles, everything. It's when you take a lot of pictures, you try to look at this. Look at this Native American. These are pictures that I picked just to catch your eye. Native American Indian events. Now, if you click on that picture, you just touch it, then it goes to a whole nother directory showing all kinds of Native American events. There's images that I used in my photography class. Look at that TP with the background. That was taken in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Yes, sir. And guess who that is? That's my good friend and wife of 44 years, Marilyn. What a star she is. She is so, look, I mean, is that, woo, 44 years with that person? I am one lucky fella. Here's a car show, unique events. You can see the Boca Raton. This is a square. The picture is bigger. Let's just touch on that, see what happens. There you go. These are all the car events. Look at that setting. All the cars are set up on. This is the campus of the Boca Raton Hotel, whatever they call it now. This is the 12th annual Concours d'Elegance in 2018, February 25th. That's a picture. I captioned it. In my class, I teach people how to image edit and put captions on pictures. And if I touch that, then it goes to the gallery. There you go. A few more. You can read over there. The largest concourse with 240 entrants. They're all winning. They're competing, with the best cars, the best old cars. There's Jay Leno. He's in the broadcast tent. Here's the magazine that they published. Jay Leno's the speaker. They have so Friday night they have an event where it's an evening event at the airport, at the airport at the Boca Raton Airport, and one of the hangars is spoken for, and they have a big cocktail party at they call it the hangar party, which of course I take pictures there, and at my somewhere. Where is it? Oh, here it is. I'll just brag a little bit. There's my press credentials. You can see. You do the what do you call it there, and all my private information. Not private, but name, address, phone number. There, you hit. That's a whatever they call that. Your camera focuses on that and picks up a URL, and it takes you right to a place that identifies who you are. Anyway, there's the Sports Car Market magazine. Yeah. Supplement to Sports Car Market. Collecting, investing, values, and trends. The 12th annual Boca Raton Concours d'Elegance at the Boca Raton Resort and Club. Yep. Address 501 East Camino. We were there with Jay Leno. And Tom Allen. Yeah, we all know who he is. So there he is. Jay Leno he's He's genuinely he's a happy man. Oh, there's Jimmy and Marilyn and one of our cousins and two other models. They were models. All three of them are models. And they were walking around the Concours d'Elegance with all the, I mean, we're talking super rich people that are at this kind of an event. I mean, they invented super rich. You got the, it's tens of thousands of dollars that these people pay. They fly they literally fly or truck their automobiles, in 18-inch wheel transport, sealed up transport things to get their cars at the show. If the guy owns 5 cars he wants to have in the show, whatever they pay per car, but they have to transport them, so they rent a couple of 18-wheelers, which that's not El Cheapo, and a couple of drivers and the fuel expense, and I mean, it's tens of thousands of dollars. They take them out of an air-conditioned place where the cars are displayed with whoever the owner is. Norman Brayman, he's a big car dealer in our local market here. So you can see Friday, February 25th, the weekend kicks off with the DuPont Registry live hangar party at the Atlantic Aviation at the Boca Raton Airport. You can see that right there, the first item. And Saturday, everybody sets up for the car show. On Saturday evening, they have, they got educational seminars all during the day, and then they have an evening cocktail party and, dinner. And then Sunday at 10 a.m. is when they start to display the cars, and by 1 o'clock or noon, they hand out the ribbons. See right there? I've taken lots of pictures in these. So, I'm close. I'm like 12 feet away from this car. These two people own the car, and the daughter's sitting in the back there. So, I hand them a card and say, hey, contact me, and I have some great photos of your marvelous machine. And everything is hand polished, and you can see the wheels are, So the money shot is with the Boca Raton tower in the background. These guys over here are taking pictures. I got the better money shots. And they're all those photographers that were kind of snobby. There you go. Look at that. Woo! I don't know anything about cars. I know nothing, but I can see that. I mean, look at these glass bulbs. He's a happy warrior. He won first place in something. Let's see if I can focus in on this. I'm doing a reverse pinch. First place for something. But that's an oldie but goodie there. We're talking probably in the 20s. There's Jay Leno. He's trying to make a deal. He wants to buy the car. See, that's the same guy. And Jay Leno ran over to him, and he talked, and they exchanged business cards. And I asked Jay Leno, I said, so what do you know? He said, I'm trying to buy the car. He wants $3 million. I'll give him $2 million. I'm making that up. I don't know what it was. See, here's the car. 1915. It was licensed plate in Virginia. Back in 1915, there weren't a lot of cars. So, 7176 was the tag number. These guys, yeah, he owns the car. He's got a little, when you pay your fee, they write a story. This is a 1925 something, I think. 1935 model Ford Model 48. They didn't have a lot of marketing in 1935, so it was Model 48. There you go. And you can see you fold up that thing and the engine's in there. Probably a 4-cylinder, God knows what. Let's see if we can see anything on his name tag. No, it's just that I got one of those tags, because of my press credentials. Yeah. The guy is dealing with the spark plugs. Had him open up his hand and he took a picture of, that screws into that and that screws into and that screws into that, and then the electricity gets put in the top of that spark plug. Yeah. Oh well, there I got a close up of the sign. Mr. Harper's grandfather bought this Ford new in 1935. His grandfather died in 1940, so he only had the pleasure of driving that for 5 years. And the car was put up on the blocks in storage by his grandmother and uncle. And Mr. Harper purchased the car in 1958 from his grandmother, because she wanted money. She didn't care about the car. Mr. Harper drove the car to college at VIP in Blacksburg, Virginia. My daughter went there, actually. How about that? And also used to date his future wife, Barbara. And October 2017, the Harpers celebrated their 53rd wedding anniversary. How nice. And there you go. So there's the inside of the car. You got the speedometer. You got the this is miles per hour over on the right. You see there, MPH? No, that's RPM. And MPH, yeah. There was no way that was going 140 miles an hour. With needle straight up at 70, that's probably as fast as that sucker's going to go. Boys and Girls Club sponsor. Anyway, so there's Jimmy. There's yours truly right there with my press credentials. I showed them to you. All right, so let's see if we can get out of here. There we go. We get back to the front page. Anyway, so that's how you navigate this site. If I touch this attractive young girl, we go to there's Native American events. I try to headline this. See, there's this young girl. If you can see, she's actually looking right at a yellow jacket. And I had the lens, the shutter speed, remember it's digital, turn way up because it was very bright. And I had the lens, a real tight aperture, like f8, 10, 16, f16, real tight. And the speed was up at like 0.003 of a second. 1/3000th of a second. And you can actually see the wings of the yellow jacket. And she's looking right at it. And she's like, is she talking to that bee? Say, don't you sting me. There's a chief. He's the head guy at the powwow. Yeah, and he's always look a little cranky. They're actually very nice people. My wife is Native American. She's Oneida Indian. Would you believe it? How lucky am I? Yes, sir. Look at these pictures. I remember taking them. Great Lakes, Great Nations. The Indian Summer, September 7, 8, and 9 in Milwaukee Lakefront. This is 2012. Marilyn's sister was the director of this Indian festival. So she knew all these tribes and all this Indian stuff. Yep, look at all those eagle feathers. Is, you know, they spend a lot of. Look at this. I made tiles, 8-inch by 8-inch tiles. So they were squares. So I took a lot of square pictures. Look at that. I got all the. There's in the top, in the middle of this on the top is. Let me producers go full screen on it, would you please? Remember, this is a Simulcast of Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Twitter Live. X, right? The handle is FAU4U. FAU, F like Florida, A like Atlantic, and U like University. It's not part of the university, it's just Jimmy. I just named it. Whatever came to my mind, I said, well, how about and then I used the number 4, and then I used the letter U. FAU4U, absolutely. Look at that tile. There's a 8-inch by 8-inch tile. This is the image, the digital image I used to create these tiles, which you can make on my site there when you say buy. You can buy a picture, you can buy tiles, you can download the image for free. You don't have to buy anything. And the middle, at the top middle there, that's Marilyn's sister, Jane. Yep, she's dancing in, you know, the Indian. Sorry, I whacked the microphone. She's dancing. All these people are dancing their different events. I kind of like, merged them together. And there's Marilyn's sister. These are two, this is another Indian dancer. This is one of the owners of the Hard Rock. He's a Seminole Indian, worth millions or billions or whatever. Because that Hard Rock, they own all the Hard Rocks except for like 2 of them. They bought the entire. They saved up money from the casinos and bought all the Hard Rock places. All the hotels, casinos, every one of them. Except there's one in London and one in New York City that the Hard Rock organization wouldn't sell to them. They bought everybody except for 2 of them, I think. And they own all the rest. And they saved up 2 years' worth of casino money and bought them all for like $900 million. Well, there's Marilyn. She's a happy lady. Yep, she's standing right there with Judy. So these 3 people, Judy's sister, Marilyn's sister Judy, and the Hard Rock, one of the tribal owners, they're standing together. That was not a superimposed image. That's one of them. There's another tile. I changed up, they're different Indians. See, powwow, Seminole Tribal Affair, Hard Rock. This is 2007. That's a while ago, huh? And they're floating around. They didn't like me very much because I was a round eye instead of an Indian guy. Yep, there's some tribal people with Marilyn and Judy. There's Marilyn. She's attractive, extremely attractive. They're talking, auctioning. There's a display on how they make their teepees and, all this cane stuff and how they do it. But, they're very private people. They didn't like me because I was taking pictures. That's like, and some of them would, they'd run after me so I wouldn't take pictures. I said, hey, I'm taking pictures for you guys. This is a present. I don't want anything out of it. I just want the ability to put them on my site and show the rest of the world what you guys are doing in here. They didn't have a lot of, they didn't have millions of American, looking at this stuff. There you go. That's the picture I used in the tile. I just cropped it like that and brightened it up a little bit. These people take this. I shouldn't say it this way. I was going to say these people take this Indian stuff pretty seriously. They are Indians, you fool. Yeah, but it's really. I mean, look at the colors. Oh, it was the photographer's, extravaganza. Look at that picture with all the colors. Now, I put all the good ones up front. For obvious reasons. So then the first lady that's Jane Beatty. She's Marilyn's sister, yeah. So they'd come over from Milwaukee, and this is in, like Broward County, Fort Lauderdale, Western Fort Lauderdale. All right, Miss Indian World. Pretty young lady. There you go. I have a story about how I met Marilyn. It takes about 20 minutes to tell. You'll have to tune in Monday or Tuesday for that. So there you go. There's my logo. I put it together, 1970 something, late 70s. There was this commercial artist that was in, when I was working for Kennedy and Cohen World Associates. I was the director of operations. I was like number 5 in the company, something like that. The company of 1,000. Anyway, so I'm up there with the art people because they're putting together a newspaper, and I was very interested in the way they put together these newspaper ads because we spent, like $35,000 for a newspaper ad. And I said, Ed, I want to see how they put this together, so. He said, okay, you can go in there and talk to those people. So one of the guys was an external artist. And he said, I talked to him and I said, hey, you do something on the side and help me with, I said, I want something like that as my logo. I said, a camera on a tripod. So that was his idea of a tripod. I mean, he had an idea, it was and then, there's Jimmy again. And then a camera on the top, and you got the film in the back, but it's digital. And you got the lens and the lens hood and, stuff in the middle. So this is what he came up with. And that's been my logo for our website. I've been using that drawing as a logo for, there you go, you can see. Oops, there it is. This is on a microphone. Thing that goes on a microphone when you're doing a news interview. It's on 2 of the faces and then 3 of the faces. And one of the face is Arcan Optics for optics that you can put on a rifle. Anyway, so you can put anything on it you want. It's a plastic thing with some foam in there, and you just slide it up the microphone. And the CBS News shows the microphone in your face. Except instead of CBS, it's Jimmy or Marilyn with our little. But we get a lot of visitors to our website. Over 20 million visitors. So I can hit go home. This is This is a digital, this is an iPad, which shows all these categories. Here's my classes I teach at FAU. There's the book cover. There's product photography. I got a picture of a special martini with a cherry in the bottom. Exotic plants and animals. Travel photography. Camera equipment. There's medical imaging. There's Jimmy. I was at the West Point campus competing in the New York State physical fitness thing. You remember that back in the late 60s? I had placed high in the New York State and the people of West Point were trying to get me to sign up. My mother was having a heart attack. No, you're going to college. So I went to college instead of the West Point thing. She was very pushy about that. Here's our press passes for Marilyn and Jimmy. Now there's a quality image. I'd send that to somebody that wanted it for some reason. There's a newspaper with the Observer newspaper, the press pass. That's a souvenir now. There's Schnellenberger. Got a whole thing about him. Florida Atlantic University versus the Fordham Rams. I got look at the Eagles. They had their own owl. That was there's recent photographs that I dealt with on the site. So I can click on there and it gets right in the album. And for some reason or other, the visitor counter is not giving me a count. I'll have to get a hold of them and find out why. It's over 26 million visitors, but you don't know factually because it's not showing for some reason. It could be the website's not picking up, it correctly. I'll try it on a couple other devices and see if there's something wrong with the software, because I use beta software, which is not available to the regular public. There's 2 billion iPhones floating around out there. So when they do an update to the operating system, it hits 2 billion phones. I got, iPads and iPhones, and, I'm sitting here with 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 1, 5. I've got 6, 7 Apple things that have a screen on it. And I'm tapping on this computer right here is Apple MacBook Pro, MacBook Air is what they call it. 15.3-inch screen. It's got 24 gigabytes of unified memory, and it has 1 terabyte. I think let's take a peek over here. It's either 1 or 2 terabytes. It's probably 1. Click that. Oh, you can't see this, but I can. Sequoia 15.1 is the software package. And it's got, there's the memory. M2 chip. Click that thing and I get more information. You probably can't see this on your display. Oh, let's see, Apple Care. It renews in September 2025. I pay annually like $70 or $80 a year. 2 terabytes. 2. I actually didn't know that. I forgot. It was 1 or 2. 2 terabytes. I think the one I have a backup one. It's only 1 terabyte. It should have been 2. Well, I'm not using all the terabytes. I use about a third of the memory. So if I have a 1 terabyte storage thing, it'll be around 40 or 50%, which is fine. That's what I want. 40 or 50% usage. Yep. Yeah, yep. I think I got a 1 terabyte. You can't, I don't think you can expand it. It's all, it's all like a chip or two. Everything's soldered in place. You really don't have there's no upgrade slot inside. This is a solid aluminum case. There's no way to get in. Well, there's a way to get in it, but not for an operator. You have to be a real computer geek, which I am not. I know things about computers. I know a lot of things about computers. But, when they had these big cabinets, you can open up the cabinet and slot in a board and, those days are over. Now these things are, a couple $1,000 and everything is all kind of like built in. So you've got to order it the way you want it. There's really no upgrade windows. There's no upgrade feature with these. Now Apple makes, desktop computers with the big screens, and the computer sits under the desk or somewhere else, and but that's a $6,000, $7,000, $8,000. Yeah, no. For the regular guy, that's operating, a broadcast here on the 8th level in a big 200-unit multifamily building on my 2-foot by 6-foot table. Marilyn's got the other 2 feet. I got this 2 feet. Anyway, so I was strained to get on the broadcast this morning because I was watching Joe Rogan interview Trump, and they're sitting around. They each got a microphone, and no headphones. They're just talking back and forth with each other, and they have, 3 cameras set up. One focuses on him, one focuses on Trump, and another camera, is set back, a wide angle, and you can see both of them talking. So they keep switching around. The producer keeps switching between the 3 cameras that I noticed. And they're just having a conversation. And Joe Rogan, every once in a while reins Trump in to, keep him on point. Trump, he goes all around the pictures, and then zeroes in on what he was talking about, but he moves around quite a bit verbally. But it's an interesting interview. I don't know how long it goes. But I looked at my watch and said, "Oh God, I gotta get off this. I gotta go on air," because I promised everybody 9:15. This is a supplemental show on Saturday. Marilyn is out west with the Rotary, so she can get in the picture of the Rotary event. It's a Alzheimer's walkathon. She's not walking. She's in the tent handing out the tickets and donating her time to help the organization. Yeah. So I'm going to go in here in my mess. There you go. There's part of my home screen at 6 a.m. this morning. Second hand is straight up. That little red thing is a sweeping second hand. Yeah, there you go. That's what part of my home screen looks like. You can see Radar Pro, photos, Flipboard, a calculator. It looks just like, if I touch that calculator, it looks, there it is right there. You see, it looks just like an HP 19C calculator. It's my favorite calculator, but I don't need to carry around the HP calculator anymore because this guy has, all the features and the square roots and their squares and their logarithms and all the different mathematical features of the HP calculator. Um, that's so I can click finance, and then you got all the finance things. Here's your preference page. How many decimal places do you want? Volume. I turn the volume down. It's a great calculator. I use it all the time whenever I want to calculate. There's photos. There's Marilyn's image of the day photo. Confidence is about believing in your own magic. Yes, sir. Here's Anchor. That's a popular manufacturer of chargers and store, energy storage, like a battery backup. There you go, 43% off for this Anchor power bank. Plugs into the USB-C port, which flips back, so then it's just a tubular geometric thing, so that thing doesn't stick out all the time. You think it flips down inside of it. I don't need it because I've got all kinds of lithium battery backups so that we can operate our devices in case the power goes off. I have a 2500 watt Honda generator, which, would you believe, Jimmy, yours truly, converted it from gasoline to propane. So I can power this generator engine with propane gas instead of, liquid gasoline. Because, you can't have liquid gasoline in a multifamily apartment, but you certainly can have propane or butane. I can run that thing off butane, residential butane cylinders. Yeah, sure can. Or a 20-pound thing, like you have with your grill. Yep. And that generator throws out a couple thousand watts. I've got cables, electric cables, big ones, long ones, which I can, because I'll put it out on the balcony, and you never have to worry about it gumming up and, cleaning the carburetor and all that kind of crap, because the, butane, these cylinders that produce, this pressurized, LP, liquid propane, 20 pound, 10 pound. I got 5 pound cylinders, so they're easy to handle. They're stuffed in a closet, and during hurricane season, I just put that stuff out, put the generator out on the balcony, run the wires in so it powers the TV and powers the cable amplifier, and powers the refrigerator and freezer. So we have, and I have, several butane, residential butane burners. So you can boil water, you can stir fry stuff, cook up, tomato sauce, spaghetti. That's my powerless electrical equipment, which is, doesn't take a lot of power. I have underneath my desk here, a whole control block. I'll have to measure how much power that is. But all this stuff is powered into one thing, and then it goes into a battery backup. So if the power goes off, all this stuff stays on. And it'll run for several hours without FP&O giving me juice. Oh my God. Arizona presidential preference. I'm looking up here, up on this little corner right there. Look at that. Wisconsin is tied as of today. Quinnipiac. Nevada, Trump is up 0.7 of a point. North Carolina, Trump is up 50 to 48. Georgia, 49-49 is the tie, the Marist poll. Yeah, I tell you what, the old Trumper's hanging in there. See, for him to be tying with a lot of these Democratic polls, because Trump underpolls. People, there's such a, prejudicial stuff about Trump. I would never put a Trump sticker on my car because someone would probably, key up my paint, in my car. So you got to be very private about this Trump stuff. Because, excuse me, you got a lot of people that, that are, these liberals they are militant. The conservatives are not militant. They keep accusing us of being militant, but we're not. We're the ones getting beat up by these liberals that are setting fires. All those fires that got set, in Minnesota, while the governor there was enjoying the burning rubber. He's a wacko. The liberals are, they burn shit down. That's why, Trump is a law and order guy. He'll be all over those guys if he gets back in office. Elon Musk adds $30 billion to his net worth in a single day. A lot of people were buying Tesla stock and it went up, like $20 or $20 a share, $22 a share. Well, he has so much stock, the stock went up, $10 or $20. He ends up, his net worth went up $30 billion because it was a good day in the stock market. Holy miracle. He's standing there with his first truck, aluminum exoskeleton. Yeah. These are just images I have, current ones. This is the new Christmas market is coming to Minneapolis this year. That's what it looks like. Kleenex is rebranding itself with this kind of a look. Kleenex brand tissue paper. So that's what is going to be on, the box of Kleenex. Something that looks just like that. They're trying to simplify their logos. NVIDIA, you've heard about that. Elon Musk is buying thousands of these very fast, energy conservative processor chips. He's creating huge data processing plants, digital supercomputers, let's put it that way, to handle all this AI, this, artificial intelligence, all, so that way they can open the entire knowledge for every single thing that's ever been written in the world. From the first time they started doing it to today, and increasing every hour, it's all open terrain in these huge computers. And you do a search, it searches through, trillions of documents and contracts and, all the PhD papers that are at these at all universities, like at Harvard, Princeton, Yale, Stanford, Dartmouth, even little Union College that I went to. I wrote, papers in the chemistry department. They're all online and on these supercomputers. Not that they're going to look up my stuff. Oh, here's a picture I took this morning. Good morning. Good morning, Boca Raton. Looking straight out my balcony. Here's the Boca Hotel. This is, the pre-dawn. The sun is coming up out west. You see over the top of those computers, I just got a message. It's 110 degrees in Maryland's locked up car out west. 110.7 degrees. So the car automatically lowered the windows a little bit, and it's venting because the car's really hot. Yes, sir. There's the 2025 Porsche electric. That's what it's going to look like. They're testing it. That's what I was watching this morning when I was watching so much. I don't know how long it is. It's a couple hours. Oh, it's 3 hours. Look at that. 2 hours, 56 minutes. You can look here in the corner. That's the duration of this interview. It went almost 3 hours. I did this screen image early on in my watching. There's Trump. He's on that side, and he's on that side. They're looking at each other on the Joe Brogan. They're like 15 million people that can watch that. Or actually, it's 15 plus 17. It's 32 million people have access to this interview through the Joe Brogan show podcast. I have in here. I have it logged into this iPad down here, which is not connected to my system. There. Let's see how they're sitting. He's just sitting in a chair. He's sitting in a chair. Brogan, look how he is. He is focused in on this conversation. And so's Trump. He's sitting there. And he's answering a million questions. He is, and it's a regular conversation. And you kind of like get to know these people when you listen to what they say. And the way they talk to each other. And the mutual respect. Trump's a storyteller, and of course he's got a lot of stories. He's been around. He's done a lot of things. Yep. So you got this wide angle camera, see, and then you got that camera. That's a close in look, and that's a close in look this way, and you can see the his broadcast has. Darn it. Why can't I reverse pitch that? No, I think I got to touch it. There we go. You see, it's got closed captioning. As they communicate with each other, this closed caption. Yeah, that's what happens. So on, so that's little pieces of things that the closed captioning just types. 5 or 10 words at a time, and then it keeps changing as whoever's talking keeps talking. So, in case you misheard or mispronounced something, you play it back a little bit, and this is what the closed captioning thinks what he said. There you go. They're looking in the Lincoln bedroom. There's the Lincoln bedroom. And Trump was talking about the Lincoln bedroom. He said that it's interesting, all the furniture, the legs are short. And people were shorter back then. You see how low to the ground you're sitting, in this couch? The legs are only like 8 inches tall. So you sit up here at 10, So your knees would, even someone like me, my knees would be up in the air. He said all the furniture, the bed, everything is like low to the ground because they were shorter back then. Every year we get taller. Trump's son is 6'9", I heard on this broadcast. He said he's 6'9". Holy jeez. There's not many people 6'9" or over. I mean, you got all these basketball stars. But he's the tallest one in the Trump clan. So I took a lot of images because I didn't know they had their mouth open, their eyes closed, whatever. That's the end of my. That's my end of my capturing. Yeah. We're talking about these articles are talking about the older condo associations of South Florida. You know, their prices are going down because in the older buildings, they're worried about their stability and whether the foundations were, constructed properly with, mitigation for salt and shifting sands and, did they use pilings? And, so you got to hire these guys that study the plans and test the construction, and you got to have these reports written, which are probably $25,000 reports, and you got to submit it to the state of Florida, and then your building gets, licensed for another 5 years before you got to do, another environmental report 5 years later. That's I guess on the timing of that, but these condo associations, of course, have to order this stuff. And these environmental people, they come and they analyze everything about your building, and then if they find anything that's deficient, they recommend remediation. What it takes to bring it back up to building standards. I mean, some of these buildings were collapsing and fell down, and then they had to get everyone out of there, and they knocked down the rest of it. Because they just weren't built right. I've actually always worried about that. There's the rebar, there's reinforcement metal. It's ugly, long pieces of reinforcing iron. And when it's, depending on where it's stored, it's always rusty looking and all that. Well, when you're laying that down for slabs, for the horizontal slabs as you go up a building, it's okay that the rebar is rusted. I mean, not through, just surface rust, because it gets sealed up inside the concrete, and there's not going to be any salt intrusion, where you're up 3 or 4 floors up. So for the lower floor and for the foundation, you use, rebar that it's epoxy coated. So they literally dip it in epoxy cement, and then it dries, and that seals up the iron so that it won't rust. Even if salt, gets in, a cracked piece of concrete, which is part of your foundation, you still have, the reinforcing iron is not all rusted out because of the salt intrusion, because it's epoxy covered. Yeah. You're not allowed to drop that stuff because they don't want the epoxy to chip off. It's important you have to handle that properly. The other kind of rebar, you throw it off the truck, but the rebar that has epoxy on it, that has to be handled much more carefully. So condos older than 30 years have lost 21% of their value since last year, and 41% of their value since the year 2020. So in 4 years, they've lost 40%. Woo, that's 10% a year. Bang. Woo. And 20% and lost this last year. Holy mackerel. So better know what you're doing when you buy some of these older condos. That's the story. That's the reason why I got this article. I just popped, I pop up the headlines so you guys can focus in on this stuff. In case you're thinking about buying a South Florida condo, make sure that they have the proper environmental reports and, find out from the minutes of the board of directors what's going on with the facility itself. Here's Trump meeting with the executives of the Blue Origin Company. That's the one that is, since his, missile, sending up rockets up to the space station. That's a global international project. You get this huge space station up there in orbit around the Earth. That's good to the year 2028 or 2030. And then they're going to start disassembling it and, putting it back, let it burn up in our atmosphere. That seems silly. It seems to me I'd boost the orbit and keep it going. Here's Elon Musk. He's at a campaign rally. Look at him. He is off the ground. He is off the ground excited about what's going on. I have that very buckle on my belt right now. I bought it at the Tesla store with points. They gave us points for getting the Tesla, and I converted most of the points into miles in the supercharger stations, and then I took 1,000 points and bought that belt buckle. I got it on right now. I took off the other, the regular buckle and put on this buckle. Yep. There's Elon Musk's new. He just displayed that to the world a couple of weeks ago. He expects his company to get approved sometime next year to allow its full self-driving cybercab to operate all over the state of Texas. He wants the same thing in California, and he wants the same thing, wherever they're making these cars. We don't have a factory in Florida. So that's what that article's talking about. And they're supposed to be working on, this is something that, you and I could buy in 2026, for under $30,000. And they're supposed to be working on a car, like you got the Series 3, right? You got the Model Y, which is what we drive. Magical car. It's unbelievable. It's just like driving a car. You wouldn't know, what's powering the wheels up, but for the fact that the car is totally quiet because you don't have some big engine in front of you. You got these electric motors that are basically silent. So you move through the atmosphere when you're driving, and you don't have all this noise. It's amazing. It's totally quiet, but it's totally faster than hell. I mean, you push down the pedal and that sucker moves. Period. If you're into, wanting to pass somebody on the I-95 or the Turnpike, you got lots of horsepower in those two electric motors. And it's four-wheel drive, So you jump down on the accelerator pedal, you move real fast. Yep. You got to watch out so you don't hurt yourself. Anyway, so there's supposed to be a Model 2, which is like something that's shaped like what we got right here. This is the robo-taxi. But they may have that with, with a rear seat configuration, less storage area in the trunk. You open up that trunk and it goes all the way to the back of the front seat. So, and they could use the whole rest of this body and just change, add 2 seats in the back, and change the trunk design, and you got yourself an electric car for everybody else to use. There you go. National polls. Trump 48.4, Harris 48.3. Can't get any closer than that. That's a real clear politics average of polls. Here's a missile somebody captured the second before the I don't know how, yeah, look at that. That's going right into that building. There's nothing holding it. This is not a fake photograph. That sucker is ready to drive right into the, I'm going to say the 3rd floor of this building, and then with its inertia and the hard point up front. That'd be amazing. I mean, that's the Photograph of the Year award. To be lucky enough to have snapped that digital shot just right before, because that got shot from a jet. So that thing's probably traveling it. Yep. Here's another presidential preference. CNN. This is October 20 through 23. So this is a couple days ago. 2,516 people they spoke with to come up with these results. Look at that. CNN and New York Times, they're both tied up. They're both tied up with each other. So we'll give everybody a shot at that, of this right here, if people come over tonight. There's a polling location in the back room where they're processing all these votes. There's a shot again. They really get on Nixon's Nazi stuff. I mean, these activists, conservative, liberal, ultra liberal people. They've been good. I mean, they labeled Gerald Ford as a fascist pig. They're not very nice to these people that are running for office. George Bush, George Soros said, it reminds me of the Germans. Yeah, so what about Germans? The Dems say he would replace the Bill of Rights with their fascist recipients. You all right? 48. There we go. 2,516 voters. Yeah. Here he's coming out of his Trump airplane, which is, by the way, see, this is a different picture. In both feet, you can see he is up. He's headed up. He's a serious Trump fan. And he's showing it, and he's donating I think it's 45 million a month. 45 million a month. He started that 3 months ago. and he's going right through the election day. $45 million a month in cash. It's a lot of money. And he believes that Trump is on the right side of the issues that he is, campaigning about. He says, there's a reason why we want to get rid of some of these. So, yep. Excuse me, a little sip of tea. Yep, he's... They're all praying together. Yep. That's a pretty good image. There's the countries with voter ID. How do you not... California passed a law, where it's illegal for you to ask for a photo ID for voting. Now, how stupid is that? How do you know who the hell that you're dealing with? That means someone could come in and vote 2 or 3 times. Because you don't know who's voting. You have no verification of who's actually showing up. And you're not comparing to any ID photo. So, no. There's a wider angle view of this voting, this praying session here. Yep. Yep, see, Trump, he's going on Joe Rogan on Friday. Well, I got it right here. All I got to do is open up this thing, and Joe Rogan and Trump are right there. It's been... the broadcast was created yesterday late afternoon. Then he went on to do a rally after that. I mean, the guy is, he does 2 or 3 things every day. And, he spends 3 hours with Rogan. So, I think he caused his rally to be a half hour late. And of course, when he travels to wherever he's going with a rally, that gives him a chance to, put his feet up and rest a minute. Probably takes him, it's a couple hour ride in an airplane, take a big old nap. He owns a 757 jet that's been totally revitalized and, physically, exterior, the motors, they're all under service contracts with the manufacturers, and they make sure everything's working actually perfectly. Yeah, this is a poll. You see down up on the top there, Friday, October 25th at 12:40. I took this information off the internet. Real clear politics up on the top. Producers, let's go full screen on this so they can see. Remember, this is run by 3 people. Me, myself, and I. We control this entire broadcast. 1 person. Sitting in my little office here on top of my 8th floor. Top of the 8th floor of this building. All right, what's going on here? I can look straight ahead. Look, national poll. I'm shaking it right there, see? Wall Street Journal, Trump versus Harris. All right. Trump 49, Harris 46. Trump's up 3. This is a national poll. CNN poll. Trump's up 2. He was behind 10, 12, in 20. And in 2016, the fact that he's even, with all these polls. Pennsylvania, Trump versus Harris. The Franklin Marshall poll, Trump is 50, Harris 49. He's up 1. Pennsylvania. This one says he's up 1. The next one, Emerson poll. Wisconsin poll, Emerson. 49-48. Trump's up 1. That's a statistical tie. North Carolina, Trump versus Harris. Emerson is the, the poll organization. Harris 49. Trump 49, Harris 48. He's up 1. North Carolina, Emerson poll, Trump 50, Harris 48. North Carolina, Marist poll, Trump 50, Harris 48. So both of them. The Marist poll 50, 48, Trump up 2. Yep, my eyes were going a little cocky, maybe there. Arizona, Trump versus Harris in the Marist poll, and Trump 50, Harris 49 is up 1. The Georgia poll, Marist poll, says that they're tied, 49-49. Ohio, Trump 49, Harris 49 is a tie. I don't believe that. I think Ohio is Trump country. But this polling organization says it's a tie. The Harris organization would love to flip Ohio to a blue state. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Trump organization has Ohio under control. So the Bowling Green YouGov, Ohio, Trump versus Harris. They have a Trump 50, Harris 43, so Trump is up 7 in that poll. The South Dakota versus Harris, the Hill and Emerson poll is supposedly Trump 62, Harris 35. He's up 27. National, Trump versus Harris. The Rasmussen reports. That's a relatively that's a good poll. Harris 49, Trump 47. Trump is up 2. That's all I can report to you. So now we'll split the screen again. There you are. There you go. The New York Post is actually, now that is not a right-wing newspaper. No. I think it's owned by Bezos. He is not a right-winger. No, sirree, Bob. And neither is his paper. And he's not happy to know that after 4 years, it's obvious, I'm just reading this panel here, it's obvious that the Biden administration has been a mistake for America. And bringing Trump back to finish the job he started means a better shot at prosperity and common sense. The Post endorses Trump for president. Go to page 30 and read the rest. So according to the New York Post, the Post endorses Donald Trump. The choice is clear to put the nation on the right path, back to the future. So that's when you read all that stuff, that's how the New York Post sifts it out. Back to the future. He's going to resurrect everything that's going on. Harris turns to the Democratic Party's biggest stars to make her closing argument. Now, she can't make the closing argument. She's got all these stars donating their time, and in the assembly of people that she has and the TV coverage of it and so forth. Since she can't make the closing statement, she's hired all these left-leaning political folks to speak for her. And they're dealing with the whistleblowers and so forth. There you go. There's all the left using extreme rhetoric against the GOP. There's a way to unify this. If you just use the information that we have in our database, which we've got plenty. I actually didn't realize how much information was left in the social sciences industry, and this graphic going back to 1964 when I was a high school student. There you go. Nixon, Ford, Reagan, and Bush. Remember, the Democrats have had control of our economy in the White House for the last 16 years, and only interrupted by Trump in 2016. He had a 4-year term instead of an 8-year term. So he'd be the 6th president over this period of time from 1964 going forward. But the Democrats for the last 16 years have been running the White House. 16 of the 20-year piece, because Trump was the, it wasn't for Trump to be, 20 years in a row. These, vote for whoever. I've been reading a lot of stuff about Elon Musk and the stuff that he produces. Like these. Oh my. All right, so now in 38 minutes, I think Jimmy's about done. And I'll get ready. Marilyn should be coming home soon. She may be even on the way. How I can find out? Let's see if the car's rolling. It looks like, so you can see the car is parked. It says parked. And it ain't parked here. God damn, it's 121 degrees in the car. We need to cabin overheat protection. Let's put it on. Yeah. Whew. Yes, sir. So the overheat protection is on. We don't have a lot of battery power. We're about a third. It'll work with a third. So we'll immediately get that temperature down. Now it says 114, 110. See, the interior temperature is coming down. It's venting. Jesus. Anyway, the car has facilities to make sure the cabin temperature, see, interior temperature is 102. It's coming down. I mean, it was 101. It was, she's 115 degrees. Now it's down to 100. Yeah. Cabin overheat protection is operating. Yeah, you can't. Geez, you can't get in the car when it's 130 degrees. You'd burn your butt. So this keeps the car under 100 degrees. I can set it to 95 degrees. Let's touch that button right there and just scroll up. You got your choice. 90 degrees, 95 degrees, 100 degrees. Let's put it at 95. Just so poor Marilyn doesn't get in the car. That's a bazillion degrees. See, now it's 99, 98. It'll keep ventilating itself. It'll actually operate the air conditioner if necessary to bring it down to 95. But see, it's come down 20 degrees just in the last minute because I turned the cabin overheat protection on. Yeah, 97, 96. Yeah, it's working. All right, and it's parked. And we'll charge up the car after she gets home. I'll put it down in the parking lot and plug it in. There's an outlet that Dr. Brian, that's his first name. I call him Dr. Brian. He paid a couple $1,000s to get an outlet put next to his car. And he says, Jimmy, you may share my outlet. So for the last 4 years, we've been sharing his outlet. See, now the car's at 94 degrees. With the ventilation techniques and the air conditioning is actually not on. He's just ventilating the car with, dropping the windows down about an inch all the way around. Not enough to let in any water, but it'll blow out the hot air. And now the cabin temperature is 94 degrees, which is better than 124. Yeah, I mean, it's like, dropped to 30 degrees. Woo! I could do that from here. She could do it with her iPhone. I have the app in my iPhone and in these iPads so that, like what I just did for her is drop the cabin temperature now. So when she finally gets, I can send her a signal on her iPhone and say, time to come home. I won't do that. She's talking with all the people at the, at this Alzheimer's. I can't remember. No, it's an Alzheimer's event, and people walk. They donate 10 cents a mile, and they walk. How many miles, and then they give over. Donate money. Because it's all about, raising money for these organizations. And the Rotary Club that's its charter, to raise money to give to, viable projects that deserve the money and need the money, to help the needy, help people, soup kitchens and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you wouldn't think so in Boca Raton, but they're, when they do their work, people, come out of the woodwork and, and end up, needing these free lunches or dinners or whatever they're providing, and they've got, good hardworking people that are donating their time. And other people donate money, and farmers donate the vegetables, and and people donate their time to create, an environment that creates boxes of lunches. They bag them, and I know people that that donate their time to produce. Some of the soup kitchen kind of things. And, yep, there's Trump. Sits down with Joe Rogan for a 3-hour interview. Remember, I just looked at the tape thing. It's 2 hours and 58 minutes. It was supposed to be not that long. But, Trump he knows so much about so many things. And he's so good with the way he can communicate it. If you're doing an interview, it's hard to, a 20-minute interview. Are you kidding me? You can get a guy like that with a microphone and, he gives you 100% of his attention. You want to keep him going as long as you can keep the conversation going. Rogan is very interested in what Trump thinks about things, and everybody likes to watch it. And he's going to touch 20 or 30 million people. So Trump is going to give his time because what the heck? Yeah, he doesn't need Beyonce to get a lot of people to tune into what he's saying. Because, she ain't going to get anybody to, if she says, she's going to do a rally, she'll get 1,000 people. But, she puts Beyonce up there as, with her, she'll get 10,000 people to show up because they're all interested in watching Beyonce. When she's done and the politicians start talking, the crowd starts going for their cars. With Trump, they stay there to the last second because he's a celebrity all by himself. He's not only a former president, but he's a celebrity. There's no other way of saying it. He has that celebrity. He had a TV show for 12 years, The Apprentice, and he didn't want to do that anymore. And he basically gave up the NBC contract and said, "No, I don't want to sign up for more years. I'm done. I've had enough." And so they brought in Schwarzenegger, right? And he ran the show for 2 years, and they went off the air because he's certainly not a Trump. Trump has this magnetism. I watched part of the show one time or two times. I don't think I ever watched it beginning to end. But, on his 10th season, 11th season, whatever, I watched an episode or half an episode. And it's interesting. You had these guys, they sit around a boardroom like they're having a board meeting talking about, current events and what they're going to do about the country and this and that. And you're fired. He'd have like 10 contestants. They're all trying to win, and they go through a whole season of, all this Q&A stuff about current events. So you had to focus. You had to know what the hell you're talking about, or else, Trump would roast you. And not many people could keep up with what the hell Trump is doing. Yeah, it was difficult. All right. It's 11:05 a.m. And in 10 seconds, it's going to be 11:06. And I've been on the air 1 hour, 48 minutes. You guys have had enough of me, right? And I'm going to go back, and I suggest you too, because you have an election. I voted. I have already voted. Early voting. Yep. And it was busy. The entire Boca Raton, there's one polling location that they have. I don't know how 4, 5, and 6 of the early voting locations. They don't open up every precinct. But I worked as a precinct worker. I volunteered my time, and I was the clerk is the highest paid position there. I was a clerk for precinct number 8882 in Boynton Beach for Palm Beach County. But I'm not doing any work for them for this national election. I kept on trading phone calls with them, and so I said, "The hell with it." It's hard. It's hard to do it because they pay you $400 or so for the clerk position. But you got to get there. It opens at 7. It's 7 to 7 for election day, right? Well, you got to show up the day before for a couple hours to see how things are going to get set up. And they give you the, a secret phone and a secret password and the combinations to the cabinets and all that kind of stuff. So when you show up at 5:30 or 6 in the morning on Tuesday, you can open up all this stuff, and then you got to get it all set up. I mean, it's so you're all ready, and you got to send them a signal that you're all ready to open at like 6:45. And if you're not, they're like all over you like white on rice, because you got to open at 7. You better do it. Well, you're trained and everything. They have very good training, very good trainers. And I'm not an easy guy. I'm a critical guy. And I actually complimented the trainers. I said, "You guys did an excellent job." They did, and it's all day training. You're there from 8 in the morning till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You have a half hour off for lunch, I think. And the training was good. They gave you a test at the end, and they grade the test. And I got 100. I got 100 on the test. Yes, I did. It was 101.00, and he circled it. And so I was fully trained. And I did, precinct in Boynton Beach. And I told the people, I said, I want it closer to where I live, because I'm not going to drive a half hour, at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then have to drive another half hour back at, 9 o'clock at night. Because, by the time you close up the place, and then you get in line to hand in your bag of stuff, with your ballots and your passwords and all. Yeah. Jeez. It's, it's 9:30 before you're on your way home. Well, that's too much. So it's 7, so it's 6 until 6 until, so you got to be there at 6 o'clock. So that means you got to leave at 5:30 to be at the door opening up at 6 a.m. And then you got an hour, to get it set up, which that's, you can do that. And, what the heck? It costs, This is the third one. I got a third window here. Let's get rid of it. There we go. Got to keep track. I'm like fooling around with my hands here, lousing up my display. Sorry. So 7 to 7 is 12 hours. So you got to be there an hour earlier. So that's 13 hours. And it takes you a half hour to get there. That's 13 and a half hours. And then you're not done until 9:30 at night. So that's 7, 8, 9 and a half. So that's 13, 14, 15, 16. So that's a 16-hour day from the time you leave your place to the time you get home. 16-hour day. And it's all day. You can't leave. You can't go anywhere. You can get 15-minute breaks a couple times during the day, during election day. You can take, some time to have some lunch. And you have to make sure, your assistant clerk or whoever you got on the staff, watches over what you manage, which is basically the whole place. So when you take your lunch break, you got to make sure it's not too busy. So it's it's a hard day, and you're dealing with the public, and some people are complaining they don't have that, they're at the wrong precinct, and they start arguing with the poll people, and then I have to get called in because the staff they need someone to give the official and it's very well run system, because when they when they show their driver's license as their method for, their photo ID, they scan the license, the back of the license, and all that information then pops up on their computer. And then, of course, they can say, well, and if you're in the right polling location, then it produces a ballot, and then you go through that process. The buying public does. But if you're at the wrong place, and every couple of years they switch around who goes to what polling location. Well, this is where I came last year, or whatever. And they get argumentative if you're basically trying to, excuse them away, and the system produces for them, line by line directions on how you get to where they're supposed to be, which is usually not far from where they're at, because if they went to this polling location and they switched it, they would switch it to a place, that's maybe a half hour. I'm sorry, a half a mile or a mile away from this location. It wouldn't be far away because they live in this general vicinity, and the new location would be, within reason of where they live and all that. So, but they got to get back in the car and they got to go somewhere else, and they get aggravated if they have to do that. So the person that's sitting down going through this tries to convince the person that they have to go somewhere else, and sometimes they have to call the clerk over, which is me, to officiate them to go somewhere else. Oh boy. So that's the kind of stuff you have to deal with when you're trying to run a polling location. Anyway, so I did that. I'm probably not going to do that anymore. I think I've had enough of that. And you have to go through, a lot of training. There we go. So I went, so I did, one of the presidential preference elections, but not this one that's coming up on November 5th. I'm going to be fully rested, sitting on the couch with my feet up, because I've already voted, so I don't have to go back. I don't have to go to my polling location to go vote, because, Daniel and I voted, a couple of days ago. He picked me up. We went to the polling location, which is the public library here, on 400 Crawford, or whatever the street is. It's like half a mile away from where I live. So he's at the same location because he lives half a mile away from where we live. So it was no driving really, except he drove us, back and forth. It took 5 minutes, but we did it. We're done. And I hope everybody votes. The advantage of voting early, I've always voted the day of, November 5th or whatever it was. But the advantage of voting early, and I'd go at 7 a.m. And of course, the line forms, you got lines. So we get there at 6:50 and 10 minutes early, and there's a line already. You got 50 people in front of you and then 100 people behind you. So if you vote on election day and the lines are really long, maybe someone drives by and says, screw this, I'm not voting. The lines are too long. See, so you don't want that. You want everybody to vote early so that it only takes you 5 minutes. Because in Florida, the early voting is like a couple of weeks. It started, this is Saturday, it started Monday. This week, Monday. And it goes 7 days a week until like November 3rd or 2nd, then it stops. So they can, shut down the polling locations and clean them up and get ready for the big day. Anyway, so when I'm done here, which I'm done here, I think I've been on the air for 2 hours. It just turned 2 hours, so I'm done. It's 11:17 a.m. There you can see it up in the corner. 11:17, 22 seconds, 23, 24. It's amazing, isn't it? How everything is so digital and on perfect time. All the clocks, switch to the whatever minute it is at the same exact time. The ones that are electric and tuned into the internet and National Bureau of Standards. I've had two mugs of tea, so I'm teed up. I'm done. I wish you have a great rest of your Saturday and have a good Sunday. And I'm going to turn the music up. It's like background music now. I'm gonna put it up to its standard valuation, VUs, volume units, and I'm gonna turn my microphone off because I'm done. Have a great day. See you Monday at 9:15.